I think, we seem to lose our confidence and sense of mastery by allowing other people's opinions to dominate our thinking. If you think back over the years, were you ever like that before? And many of you are probably saying, well, no, I was pretty confident when I was younger, or maybe some of you are saying just the opposite. But why is it then when you get here at this particular, I think it's because of societal expectations.
I
So,
do too.
yes,
I do too. Hello, everyone. This is Diane Gilman, formerly known as the Queen of Jeans, but now perhaps known as your guide to always being too young to be old. And today we have someone that really personifies that, TK Mitchell, who is an inspired aging coach. And let me tell you what, ladies, if you are 55 and over, if you are going through a great divorce, if you have lost your husband, or if you are just in a period of your life when you're single, number one, you're not alone. 80% of all females in America will age out solo. How do you do that? How do you feel empowered? How do you feel like you can really and truly be in charge of your life? It ain't easy, but TK's here to tell us how. So welcome in to Too Young to Be Old. Oh, and by the way, I want to tell you, this is our first dual um, podcast week. So Thursdays throughout October will be about breast cancer. I'm a survivor. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But TK is going to tell us about that last third of our life, which should be and could be the best. But TK, unless someone tells us how to get there or how to use a mindset to see it differently, I always say, if I had a room full of 1,000 women and I said, okay, raise your hand if you're looking forward to being older, there wouldn't be a hand raised. And isn't that so wrong when most of us want to age, but we have no plan for it and we don't know why we want to age? So
Mhm.
give us a clue here. You also talk about integrative wellness. So
Mhm.
platform is yours, my dear.
Yes. Okay. Well, thank you very much for that introduction. It is wonderful to be here with you, Diane. And I think too, as you had said in the intro, I'm a motivational speaker and certified holistic wellness coach. And what I do is prepare what I call my mature and seasoned women for living their dynamic next act. I call it my second half. You call it third. But the next act. And it's all about promoting love and joy
Ah,
and good health and a purpose-driven life. But now, how do we get there? Well, we do need to say that the first thing is about mindset. And
totally.
oh yeah, it's the mindset. It's about releasing perfection and control because that can sabotage our efforts. It's about really being confident too. Confidence plays a big role here.
That is so funny that you say that about perfection
Hmm.
because so many women, and certainly me too,
Yes.
I get angry at myself because I'm old. I
Hmm.
used to wake up in the morning, look in the mirror, and it was almost perfect. Hair
Hmm.
was glistening and thick, and skin was perfect, and no wrinkles, and no lines, no dark spots under my eyes. And
Hmm.
now it's like, oh my God, it's a train wreck. What am I going to do with myself today?
Yeah.
And instead of forgiving yourself and actually applauding yourself for being older, I tend to get angry at myself because not everything is automatic. But one thing
Yeah.
you talk about, and I am so on board the holistic train.
Yes.
I take absolutely, at 78 years old, not one drug. Cholesterol,
Well,
I
y-
came I
yes,
battled it through diet. Cholesterol's great. Blood pressure,
yes.
worked with my diet, brought
Mhm,
it down.
mhm.
But we live in a society, and every commercial on cable television is about another drug. How do you
Yes,
untrain the mind to thinking that you have to have a series of crutches, drug crutches,
yes.
to live out your life?
Well, it's a change in your mindset. I mean, like you say, we're bombarded by all of this information that doesn't necessarily pertain to us. And it's the same with age. I mean, our society doesn't seem to appreciate age. And so we listen to that, we've heard it, and we've internalized it. And that's the
Totally.
situation. Yes. And so I say to our listeners that we have to have the mindset that you are not done yet. I mean, you're here for a reason, and that reason
Yes.
is to shine your light. You get to choose what the rest of your life looks like. And I think this is the perfect time to reposition yourself, to reinvent yourself, because I bet many of us have more choices now than we did, say, 20 years ago. See, the kids are grown, they're doing their own thing. You may be retired or approaching retirement or looking to align your life with your passions. You may be living alone, wondering how to prepare for your next chapter. And because of your experiences, let's pat ourselves on the back. Because of your experiences and life challenges, you know a lot of things and have gained a unique perspective about life that someone much younger may not have. So these
How
are, yes.
how to have a voice for that? Because I was saying
Mhm.
when we were talking before the podcast that because of Roe versus Wade and that opportunity to
Yes.
really make a choice whether you want a child or not, and feel
Mhm.
that you're assailed and kind of bombarded by
Mhm.
negativity there. Do you know that between the ages of 25 and 40, 40% of all women have said, "You know what? Um, I was considering it, but I'm not going to do it."
Mhm.
The reason why that is relevant is we become, number one,
Mhm.
the generation with the most choices. Isn't it mind blowing that
Yes.
generations below us now
Yes.
will have less choices and advantages as a female than we had? And
Mhm.
also, as the largest generation on earth, baby boomers, how could we be so silent? Because the fact that there's not going to be a baby boom coming after us,
Mhm.
we should be the vocal powerhouse for our own rights,
Yes.
especially as women.
Yes.
And yet, I find we are so silent in this time period in our lives. And you're right, we have more choices. I
Mhm.
call it the age of customization.
Yes.
This is so wrong. How, as a pioneer of that concept, do you bring our voices out, TK?
Well, looking at ourselves too, and understanding that now at this particular age, we our experiences are our assets.
Ah,
Yeah, and we are to use these skills that we have that no one else has. Everyone's unique, but we have that advantage. Age is an advantage because of our accumulated assets. And we use these skills that we have to make a difference in the world. And
how?
really, one of the things that really got me into this business after I transition from 32 years of teaching in the public schools was I wanted to change the world's view on age so that it's positive, not negative. And so that is one of the things that kind of set me on fire and pushed me forward. But oh yes, that's it's a mindset change. We have to appreciate, understand it, be aware, and then get that confidence built up. And sometimes it's not easy doing it by yourself. I know you're doing a lot of that work now, Diane, but people need to be motivated. They need to
They
have
need to
a community.
believe.
Yes, a community and to believe. But the community
Yeah.
is what helps. I mean, we do need to form that community of support so that we see that we have something grand to give the world. I mean, these should be our best years, in my opinion.
Yeah, I believe that too. And number 2, they should be the best years because these are the years you've got left.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you or some of our audience like me went through a mortality based kind of disease like cancer, which
Hmm.
I think is the norm in this country.
Yeah.
And you learn to appreciate life more. You learn how precious it is. I think if I had to say there was one huge advantage to being older, it's I know how beautiful
Mm.
and precious life is. And I therefore live every moment in the moment that way. And when I hear younger kids or I hear women my age saying,
Mm-hmm.
ugh, worst summer I ever had, horrible. I mean, I even walked into a party. There was a girls' party for women in their 60s, 70s, 80s, and the first words out of someone's mouth were, "Worst summer I ever had. Don't tell me you had a good time." And I was like, "Okay, I didn't. I did, but I'll just say I didn't." But that to me is a sadness. It's not having the bulwark which you and I want to create in female society to really see your worth. No, we're not 20 anymore.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to look good in a bikini anymore. Actually, I never did. But we've got so much to offer. How do we convince women over 55 that this actually could be the best time in their lives?
Yes, yes. I think it takes time, and I think, by your podcast and different programming that we've discussed, I mean, I think that they will come around. I just really don't have that many role models. I think that's what it
Yeah,
is. And they need to
yeah,
be supported. I think they need to be supported, and I think their voices need to be heard. But it starts here, what we're doing today, what we're doing now. But I think that we have to be careful about succumbing to societal expectations.
for sure.
And um, I think, we seem to lose our confidence and sense of mastery by allowing other people's opinions to dominate our thinking. If you think back over the years, were you ever like that before? And many of you are probably saying, well, no, I was pretty confident when I was younger, or maybe some of you are saying just the opposite. But why is it then when you get here at this particular, I think it's because of societal expectations.
I
So
do too.
yes,
I do too.
yeah, losing touch with losing touch with our inner child by ceasing to be relevant, by distancing ourselves from learning new things, by giving up, by not being willing to take risk, and that's a big thing. And by
You know,
listening.
one
Mm-hmm.
one of the real glitches in society
Mm-hmm.
is you can run, but you can't hide from technology.
Yeah.
And when I'm with a group of women my age, I swear to you, 90% of them don't want to know about email. They absolutely don't want to know. They give up. Technology is overwhelming. Instagram, TikTok, oh, all that stuff's for younger people. No,
Mm-hmm.
actually, these are the new role models for enriching your life. This is where you hear the music from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s that you loved. This is where you can see your icons as they grew older. I can't say enough about it. I'm totally untechnical, which is always a frustration, but I do. Here I am doing podcasts. I have no idea how, but I'm doing them, and
Yes.
I'm doing them on my cell phone. And that to me at 78, it's like
Mm-hmm.
I'm hot stuff. I mean, I got technology, but if
Yes.
we keep denying, and one of the denials truly, TK, that I really want you to speak to is being in charge of our own health.
Yes. Yes.
What does that, I know that you are about empowerment, but I also know that you are about integrative wellness.
Yes, I
So,
am.
what do you say when you're in a public speaking situation about being in charge of your own wellness, how to get there, and how and where is the support for that?
Yes. And I say too, it has a lot to do with mindset again. And I know we've all had very difficult, challenging times throughout our lives. But one of the biggest pivotal times for me in particular was when I was transitioning through menopause. And I
Ah,
had all of these health challenges that just seemed to pop up out of nowhere. And my primary care physician and all of them, I love them dearly. When they took the test, they found out that I had these multiple health issues. One of them, well, first of all, had this weight gain that came out of nowhere. I mean, it was just
me too.
so much. It was like where did that come from over the last year? What? All these pounds, what happened? Well, you know what it is that you're older now and that you're going to be gaining some weight. And that's just all there is to it. That's the message I heard. Then the other thing was the elevated lipid levels. And so my
Uh,
cholesterol off the charts. And again, they're promoting the pharmaceutical drugs. And I was just getting so discouraged listening to this. And on top of that, because I'm not done, they're osteopenia. I said,
oh,
what
yeah.
the heck? And and of course there's a drug for that. And all of these things are those are some of the top ones, some of the main ones. And I said, wow. I went home, I was very discouraged, and then I decided after a day of sobbing and trying to figure out what am I supposed to do. I really don't I really do appreciate modern medicine. Don't get me wrong. It's wonderful. But I wanted to try the naturopathic route before I had to take the drugs. And I would if this doesn't work. So I was on this mission to research uh,
Uh,
notable naturopaths in my area. And I tell you, this is more than, gosh, this was back in 2006. And everything just sort of fell into place. That's that mindset. Is I was focused on it. I wanted it. I knew I could do something about my health. I just knew it. And so that's what kind of, the universe sort of rolls in and helps you with this. And I was in touch with a wonderful naturopath in the area. They took all of these tests that the primary care would not ordinarily test.
exactly.
And you said, your lipid levels, yes, they're high, but we can just stick with us. We have more tests. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it, TK. And so I found out in one of the major tests that they took that I had multiple food allergies. Who knew?
So
Well, I guess
interesting.
we look back and we know. I mean, dairy and egg and gluten and oh, many, many more. This is going to help. This is one of the contributors. And slowly but surely, um, through their recommendations and naturopathic remedies, I was able to reverse all of my concerns. Yeah, I
Yes.
was so excited about all that. Now, they did tell me that that bone density test was going to take longer. And it took about, 6, 8 years before I'm out of that zone now. So
Wow.
just
How
that.
did that happen? How did you do that? Was it
Well,
through diet?
yeah, through these lifestyle changes. And I thought I was doing all the right things. But of course, when you get, it seems like every 10 years there's something else that we need to tweak in order to
Yeah,
continue moving forward.
totally.
Yes, but yes, through lifestyle changes, and that's why in my company, Lifestyle 120, if we take care of ourselves, we can get to 120 or beyond. But yes,
Yeah, we're our own blue zone. But
oh
you know
yes,
what?
we're so right. But yes,
I
absolutely,
gained
that's what it was.
during during menopause, I gained almost 90 pounds.
Oh,
And I was a quarter of a pound away from the national definition of obesity.
mm,
And I remember, like you, I left the doctor's office, my GP, walked across the street to Central Park, sat down on a park bench, and wept.
yes,
But
yes.
then I really asked myself, why do you gain all this weight? Well,
Mhm,
yes, it was during menopause, but it was also, I became a widow during menopause.
mhm,
And I made food my companion. I was what I call a pastagenarian. I ate
mm,
pasta, 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 pasta. And when I wasn't eating that, because I'm Eastern European, I was all about the cream cheese and the
mm,
lox and,
yeah,
the cream herring and everything that my parents, who were Ukrainian, loved and raised
mm,
me on, but it was no longer appropriate at
mhm,
60. Maybe it was good at 6 years old, but not at 60. I realized I was also an emotional eater, and I didn't go on any diet pills. I didn't go on any special medical diet. I just realized what my bad habits were, what
yes,
my destructive habits were. But what I
mhm,
realize now in my age group, in my 70s, and I think it starts at 50,
yes,
55, you must be constantly aware
yes,
and customize your life,
yes,
customize your activity, customize your diet, and really change around your headset from depression to gratitude. Do
mhm.
you not find that to be
Oh,
true? You got to
oh,
be
yeah.
in charge of you.
Oh, absolutely. Gratitude is the number one key. And
I
that's
think
something
so.
that I promote constantly because even with the challenges that we're talking about for ourselves, um, and in a way I'm thinking, okay, I'm grateful to have found this out in order for me to elevate my life. But now, because I found it out, because I've been able to support myself in this way, now I can help others. And so that's the gratitude, living in with the mindset of gratitude and appreciation and awareness, like you said initially. Absolutely. Yeah.
So, how do you approach this? Do you, and I know that there's something you said that struck me as one of the most important things I've heard since I started my quest
Hmm.
for better aging. You said you want to raise the standard for aging. Oh, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes, absolutely. But for our listeners, who may be in an environment which is mostly what goes on here in America, where age is not about gratitude, age is not celebrated. What does raising the standard for aging mean to you? What is your goal and purpose here?
Raising the standard for aging means that we're back to that mindset again. And if it's about community. And as you said, there are many, many women who have a negative attitude right now. I don't know if it's intentional. I think some kind of way it's a society and the sort of they've morphed into this. But if they see people like you, people like me that have something to offer them, and if they can become part of that community, part of that programming, I think it can change. I
I do
know,
too.
yes, I think that's the secret there.
But
Um,
one thing I feel for raising the standard of aging is
mhm,
I was in, like you, a profession for 30 years,
mhm,
tele retail, and where was that going to take me when
Mhm.
I left, or was I going to be just left high and dry? So
Mhm.
I really did a little life analysis on me, which
Mhm.
was drawing two lines and a bar above and saying, what do I love about my life? What do I not like? How am I going to change it? And what
Yeah.
I found for me
Mhm.
was I must lead a purpose driven life.
That's it.
So I realized that the one skill I couldn't take fashion design with me as I left, but the one skill I could take was public speaking in front of a camera.
Yes.
And I'd always talked about creating a middle-aged team because the middle-aged and older woman is so forgotten
Yes.
in fashion. And I could take that message and move it forward and make it more general and universal and
Mhm.
broader.
Yes.
And I, like you, am on a tear.
Mhm.
I am on a mission
Yes.
for women to enjoy this part of their life. And yes, be grateful for it. If you've ever been through anything like cancer and you're given a second chance, my,
Mhm.
my diagnosis was so scary. And
Mhm.
I got that second chance. Don't think I am not going to enjoy every single minute of it, but also make the most out of it. So
Yes.
I assume you were a great teacher and you, like me, took your speaking skills
Yes.
and said to yourself, I'm not just going to sit on a shelf
Mhm.
for these years. I'm going to do something with it. I
Yes.
think purpose feels better than ever. And I think that's what is missing
Mhm.
from most women's agendas as they age. You
Yes.
lose the children, it's the empty nest. You may
Mhm.
lose your husband, great divorce or illness,
Mhm.
and you have no purpose left. And I honestly believe that is the number one killer of
Yeah.
women in
That's
our
right.
society today.
Yes, I like to lead women to purpose for sure. That's the ultimate charge here. And if I just tell a short story here, see, after
Oh,
graduate,
please.
you say graduating from my teaching career, I thought my second half was about doing more of the same thing. So I initially considered a path that was safe and comfortable, what I had already known. For example, started tutoring at the Adult Education Center at my local community college. This is a great way to give back, but it was not the right fit for me. Then one of my colleagues and I explored the idea of starting our own reading clinic, and that fizzled. And even I was considered, I had considered getting my PhD in curriculum and instruction so I could develop programs for student teachers. I'm laughing about it now. I encountered so much resistance there too. And I recognized it because I was aware that this is not working. I encountered the resistance everywhere that looked the same as what I was doing. So looking back, I realized
Wow.
that I was being divinely guided, and these initial ideas were too much of the same. So in my second half, in my next act, I was supposed to use my strengths, like you did, Diane, use my strengths and talents in a different way to do a new thing. So long story short, I went through a process of exploring and meditating on the meaning of the signs that the universe was placing on my path. And what I wound up doing is combining my love of teaching, my long time passion for health and wellness because I'd been through some things, and my experience developing curriculum while at the same time strengthening a deeper relationship with spirit. And I think spirituality
Yes.
is so important. So, what
Yes.
I'm doing now is the manifestation of that. Spirituality is the base, is the foundation of our lives. Is really what moves me forward. And any of my messages, any of my programming will come forward is the spiritual foundation. So everything we're talking about really is that spiritual dynamic.
I feel it. Boy, that
Mhm.
is for me. I think to myself, after a diagnosis of stage 3 breast cancer,
Mhm.
and the first diagnosis was very simply, it's hopeless. It's everywhere. Oh, thank you for
Mhm.
that. Um, And then coming back from it, I
Yes.
think to myself, yes, I'm not here. This is not happenstance. This is not just, oh, la di da, you're here. This is, you are here. You are here for a purpose. You are here for a purpose to spread good, to spread constructive message, to spread self love. Um, I am so enmeshed in that belief. I think, as you see many of your contemporaries cross over, but you're still here,
Yeah.
you've got to know you're here for a reason. And if you do have the kind of voice that you or I have, then your purpose has to be, should be for good. I'm like a puppy dog. I would like to make everybody around me happy, and I'm still figuring out how to do that. But I want to ask you just one last question. You say there's always a spiritual component. I'm right there with you, sister. But you talk about life principles, and I would like you to explain, what does that mean to you? What does that mean to all of us, frankly?
Mhm. Yes, the life principles. Well, you know what? I think everybody who's listening understands that we've got these lifestyle elements that help to bring harmony in our lives. And just running down through the list real quickly is, we nourish our bodies and we get regular fitness and we get proper
Hopefully.
sleep and all of this. And, we have wonderful relationships and a comfortable living space and giving back to society. And one of the main ones that we talked about is pursuing our interests and our dreams, our passions. But n- none of this really is going to be sustainable unless we have this secret sauce. And that sauce is what I believe to help you experience whole health and to fulfill the desires of your heart. It's this lifeline that must be circulating through everyday experiences. And I call it our internal system, our fundamental universal truths, and it's the essence of my messaging. And what it is it's it's four things. It's love and compassion, it's your thoughts and words, is accepting responsibility and honoring your commitment to the choices you make in life. These are all spiritual components, universal. It's trusting and believing, and it's having courage and passion, getting excited again and again about the rest of your life. It's about,
Beautifully said.
yeah,
Yes,
expectation,
beautiful, beautiful.
planning, and being open to becoming vibrant and colorful during this next phase. So, yes, it's the love, integrity, faith, and enthusiasm.
And
So,
what I
but
call that, honestly, is intentional
yes,
living. I
it's
think at the age where we start to really see that life is not automatic,
mhm,
probably after 50, you really start to have to be your own architect
yes,
and create your own building. And is it a beautiful Gothic cathedral? Is it a modern all glass house? Whatever it is, we're here to give people the confidence to build that
yes,
inner
absolutely,
structure. And
absolutely.
with that, I want to thank you. You are truly amazing. You are such a fantastic public speaker, and you've got a message that really each and every one of us could benefit by living by. And we will make sure that our audience knows where to find you and how to hear more of that message. And remember, we are during the month of October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and I Am a Survivor, doing dual weekly podcasts. Woo! And it's been pretty intense, let me tell you. So you'll be hearing us come out with a new podcast every Tuesday. That'll be TK, and every Thursday which will be about some form of information, aspiration, and inspiration about breast cancer. TK, I cannot thank you enough. This was truly wonderful.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Yeah. Mwah. Right back at you.
Thank you so much for listening to Too Young to Be Old podcast. The episode may be over, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at The Diane Gilman, or visit our website, thedianegilman.com. If you like the show, leave us a rating or a review and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And until then, don't forget, age is just a number. Together, we'll prove that we are all too young to be old.